Hi, Dani. My name is Melissa McCall, also known as wife of Levon McCall, mother to Yuri, Noah, Selah, Titus, and Micah, music teacher to thousands of students, and realtor to a few special clients. 3 to 4 years ago, I was not the person I am today. I was pregnant with our 5th child, Micah, working full-time as a music teacher, not giving my God any one-on-one time. I was bitter and disgusted with my husband, not honoring him. We weren't on the same page, and I think he wanted out of the marriage. I was a negligent wife, negligent mother, consumed in my full-time job, my part-time job in direct sales and the music ministry at my church, and anything else that they needed me to do. And on top of that, we were thousands of dollars in debt, and our money was separate. Our goals weren't the same. It was like having a roommate in hell. I hated being home.
Hi, Dani. My name is Melissa McCall, and I've decided that I'm going to take a leap of faith and think outside of the box and do something very unique. About, about 3 years ago, I had hit what I felt like was rock bottom for me at that time. And the things that led to that, prior to that, my husband and I, first of all, we have 5 children. And so for several years, I was pregnant every year. And Dani, I know you can relate to that. And on top of that, I was working full-time, and I'm a full-time school teacher. I teach music, and at the time I was teaching high school, and now I teach elementary music, K through 5. But during that time, not only was my body not getting rest, I was constantly pregnant. My husband and I, we actually came into our marriage with our first child. So we had our first child before we got married. And I will tell you, like, a part of the craziness that was going on in my head was, I think, all of the bitterness and the unforgiveness and all the shame that I was feeling, forgiveness to myself, forgiveness to him, and of course anybody else that could have been involved in my life. I was just really upset and had not dealt with it like I thought I had done, and hadn't really dealt with the shame that came with that and the regret and all of this. Because at the time I think I had felt like I had made the decision to marry my husband partly because we had a child together, and he was my first when it came to losing my virginity. And so there was just a lot. There was a lot there. We went into our marriage without really having a honeymoon time, enjoying ourselves. We came in with a lot of just junk, and so it wasn't a good start at all. I will say that due to the unforgiveness with there, I was extremely picky and extremely critical. I did not make it a safe place. I was not attracted to my husband whatsoever. I did not treat him with honor and respect. And at the time, though, you could not have told me that. At the time, I thought that I was justified in every single thing that I was doing. I felt like I was justified in everything that I was doing. I felt that, he was not the man that I wanted to be with. And this was hell. It was the worst. I didn't want to be intimate with my husband. He wanted to. I felt like he never understood. I was always pregnant. Why can't you understand? These are my hormones. And I mean, it was crazy. And it was like this for a long time. Then on top of that, we were just extremely separate with what we wanted in life. We were extremely separate in our goals. All of that, like, nothing was together. I remember praying to God, how in the world did I get with this man? How I'm so sorry. And then at the same time, as I kept repenting, feeling like I was being punished because I was not obedient and didn't receive the blessings that the Lord had set up for me because I did not walk in his obedience, then I was like, you know what, I can't even complain about it. And so that really just brought me down because I felt like I had no right to complain. This was what I chose. Therefore, I have to lie in the bed that I made. It was awful. So, 5 children later, debt has accumulated. I actually went to school, my undergrad, debt-free. I had accumulated enough scholarships to pay my way through school. And so I came out of college without any student loans. But I had a little bit of credit card debt, which I was able to pay off in no time. As far as our wedding, we practically paid for our wedding out of pocket. I did all of my decorations, did all of that, but we charged for the dress and the rings. So we ended up having to pay that back, and we got out of that. But then as family came, we needed a new vehicle. And so we got into debt with that. We were renting in a townhouse for a while, and then after that, then came the house that we got. And then after the house, then came, oh, well, you need to go to grad school because, you know, you can make more money as a school teacher. So I went and got my master's, and that's when I developed student loans. And then even later on down the line, it was like, well, the specialist is just a year. Just go ahead and tackle it while you can. That's a lot more money there. You've got a way that you can pay this off. Did I do that? No, I didn't. Nonetheless, accumulated more debt. Now it's, up to $60,000 in debt just from student loans, not even including my house mortgage now, and not including the vehicles. Before most of that had come to, I just knew that I was sick of the debt. And so I just felt like, you know, the Holy Spirit would have given I felt like he gave me an opportunity to get out of debt. And that's when I came into network marketing through a business. And it was actually introduced to me by my husband from a friend. And so I went into it, long story short, went into the business, ended up like totally crushing this business in the very beginning. Had never been involved with direct sales. It was a complete success financially, so it seemed, because it was bringing in lots of money. But how I was keeping that money, that I couldn't tell you where that money is. I couldn't tell you where it went. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, it was supposed to be an avenue to get out of debt, but I did not manage it. So I didn't even pay most of that money to get out of debt. It mainly went to, oh no, I told you I don't know. I don't know, but I know I'm not in less debt now. Okay. So I didn't take advantage of that opportunity, and not only did I not use my money wisely, I didn't use my time wisely. And so that business began to consume me. I was not a good steward of my job anymore because that was taking up my time. Being on Facebook while I should be working, because I was trying to push this business and thinking I'm being smarter with my time. Totally stressed out with my children, yelling all the time because I needed them to hush and be quiet because I was on the phone, you know, no time for my husband, or please just get in the business with me. Won't you do this with me? Like, I could retire you, you know, that. So all of this is going on, and it's totally pushing us further and further apart. My husband, he's in real estate. He wants me to get on board with him. I'm like, you're not supporting me. And I could go on, like in the justifications. You're not supporting me. You're trying to push me to be something that I'm not. Push me. Why won't you just accept me for who I am? Why? And he's catching attitude, and we're just not on one accord. Our vision, what we want in life, nothing is together. Nothing. Probably about 3 years ago, as I said before, as all of this led up to this, I ended up coming out of my first network marketing business, ended up going into 2 other different businesses where I climbed to the first top quickly due to just networking and just fast building, but even though I seemed to be making money, my team was not making money, and so that was very discouraging. It's not what I wanted. It was hard to really talk about something when I knew that even though I could do it, other people didn't seem to be on that same track as I was. And so, and then on top of that, my husband, basically, he didn't know if he wanted to be with me anymore, and then I was feeling really awful with my kids because, I sent my son to school in briefs, thinking they were shorts, and at the same school that I work at, just crazy stuff. So I really realized at that point that something had to change. And I ended up having a nervous breakdown, cried all the time, got super quiet, didn't want to talk to anybody, wanted to be left alone. It was just awful. Allergies, my immune system just completely shut down. Talking about health issues that I have now, that I never had in my life, I have now. All of those things, it's just really crazy. What had happened over the years. And even prior to those 3 years, probably about a year before that, in my first business, I've been introduced to Dani. And it was about her prospecting and closing script. And my team leader wanted me to listen to it. So I was like, oh, okay, this woman sounds on fire. She's giving me exactly what I need because I love scripts. Recruiting was not an issue for me, but I love the fact that I would be able to give this to anybody else and they could totally say it too, and it would make it easy and I wouldn't have to train them on what to say. Well, kind of let that go. I didn't know she had more stuff. I just was focused on the prospecting and closing scripts, which I did not consistently use, even though I thought it was awesome, but I didn't consistently use it, and didn't consistently pass it on to my team. Go figure. So, not following directions, not being inconsistent, there's this pattern that starts to really become quite evident. It's embarrassing, really. But I'm so done with the facade and just putting on a show. This is real. And my life is not what it may seem to other people. Yeah, I might be able to do a lot of things. And there may be several things that I can do well. But just because I can do it don't mean I should. And that's one of the hardest lessons that I've had to learn. But it feels so good and so freeing when I'm able to swallow that and say that to people and not care what they think. Sorry, tangent. Let me continue. So, when I had my nervous breakdown, I really got to a point where I was like, can somebody just please tell me what to do? Began praying, really seeking the Lord. I think a war room had come out. I was fighting through prayer for my marriage and asking God to just help me to understand and to see what I need to see. And Dani Johnson's name just dropped down into my spirit before the whole war room thing came about. And I had her playing constantly. When I found her, it was on YouTube, and I think it was a Spiritual Equipping Wednesday show that she had from online, and it spoke directly to my situation, and it basically slapped me in my face. Told me that, I was not being an honorable wife, and I might feel justified in what I'm doing, but there were so many things that I was doing wrong, and that was provoking, and I needed to totally step back and reanalyze some things. And so that's what I did. And I just said, Lord, you know what? My way has not been working. So even though it may not feel good, I've just got to trust that your way is so much better. And I began humbling myself and not talking back as, talking so much and feeling like I needed to say what I needed to say and just walk on. Even if I didn't feel like I was being treated the right way, I just had to take it and go and not say anything, and just think about Jesus. And I know that seems spiritual, but it's the truth. I had to think about the grace that he has given me and the grace that I was also supposed to give to my husband because I was not being a graceful wife in any way. Well, before then, I had been going to events through my other companies and not really caring if I had the blessing of my husband. I would go because the way I felt about it was, this money that I'm paying for it is not coming from you. I'm not even asking you for a dime. I'm arranging babysitters like you ain't got to do anything. I'm going on my own dime. And it's not coming from any of the income. This is what I was saying. And I was not being honorable at all. during those times. And so when it came to this Dani Johnson thing, I just remember really having to pray. And Mariana, she was helping me out, and she prayed on the phone with me because this was a concern of mine. And God miraculously worked that thing out. When my husband gave me his blessing, he didn't even realize he had gave it to me. But he gave it to me not just once, but twice. And this was in 2015 when I first went to Cleveland and then went to San Antonio. And Cleveland was just, it broke me down. I just remember just crying and really just stripping everything. And I wanted to leave everything there and not bring anything home. And that's where the change really came. My husband will have to tell you his side and what he felt like he saw after those events when I would come home. But through prayer, I mean, I'm talking like straight up some prayer, just crazy prayer. And asking, and not just praying, but actually following through and doing by showing kindness and the love and the grace of God towards my husband, whether he deserved it or not. But doing all of those things to help turn his heart around, because I will say that my husband came to his first event on last year when it was in Austin. First Steps was in Austin, and then he went to creating a dynasty right after that in San Antonio. Then we just got back from Orlando in January together, and he won't be coming with me to Dallas, but I will be there. And that's a doggone testimony. And not only that, but Dani, let me tell you, we are together in goals now. I got my real estate license. I asked the Lord to just open up my heart to that, and he has moved on my heart to go in that direction for the vision of, what my husband has for our family. And so there are steps there. Now, there are some different things that I'm wanting and I feel like I'm lacking in. And so I'm making this video because you at at the last First Steps in Orlando, we were in the gym session and you were talking to the Rubies last. And I will tell you, Dani, I don't know. I don't know which personality I am, really. I feel like I strongly relate to every single personality. So I'd be very humbled to get your opinion of what you think. But Ruby, when I first went to Cleveland, I set Ruby for some of the first two events, and then I set Pearl, and then last event I set Emerald. I haven't set Sapphire yet, but a lot of people think I'm Sapphire when they meet me. So, nonetheless, I set Ruby, and just it just poured in my spirit, just so much, because there was a huge time in my life, and still sometimes it feels that way, where that Ruby felt like she had to come out, for her family. That's why she was working so hard, because she wanted it for her family and that sort of thing. And there are things that I do want to win at. I do enjoy challenges. I enjoy doing things that other people feel like it's impossible for them. I don't necessarily feel that impossibility right away until I get into it. And that's when I can find myself kind of getting discouraged and frustrated. But there was something that you told us when you looked at the Rubies. And you said, Rubies, they're powerful people with no direction, which leads them into a wall of, they are powerful people, but when they have no direction, it can lead them to a wall of destruction. And I don't want that, which is why I've been really plugging in, and we've bought quite a few things. But you said that you're looking for 10 rubies to work with. 10 rubies. And I'm not sure what it is that you're looking for, except that I think one of the things that you said was that you're looking for us to do what you have taught us to do. And so I have some goals, and I want to share with you those goals because I hope to be one of those rubies, and that is one of my goals, is to be one of those rubies that you choose to work with. I feel like we are doing something great, my husband and I, but I feel like there are so many things that we have yet to learn, and consistency is such a weakness. It has been such a weakness of mine, but it will no longer be a weakness of mine. So today marks the first day in which I plan on being consistent, practicing consistent with this vlog to you, to prove to you, even if I don't have you on the phone with me or one day a week, at least I'm going to pretend like this is me checking in to Dani through this vlog. So I would imagine that you So I would imagine that you would ask me, Melissa, what are your goals? What is it that you're wanting in life? So even though at our sessions I've written them out extensively, I'm not going to take that time right now to do that, just because this is supposed to be a short vlog. But I will tell you that I have some short ones here. So my number one goal is to spend daily time with the Lord. That is one area that I've been very inconsistent with. And it doesn't mean that I'm not talking with him. He is pretty consistently on my mind about something throughout the day, but it's about getting that one downtime, just chill and stop with all of the noise that's going on, because I constantly have noise because my ideas are just constantly going, and then there's things that I'm always doing, teaching other 120-ish something kids per day, being with other kids, and then my kids come into my room and then they're with me until 8 o'clock at night, or when they get in the bed. Which is usually 8 o'clock at night, and that's when my quiet time goes, if I get a quiet time, which goes into something else like working. But daily time with the Lord, and really that should for me be in the mornings, but I have found myself where I've chosen not to be a morning person, and so fixing that, just finding that time, to encourage my husband daily, and not be critical, and just shut my mouth if something negative is about to come out. Just that. Daily. That's the key. Daily. No yelling or being critical of my kids, and just enjoying time with him to create a stress-free zone. I've not been honorable to my children. I haven't. Oh my God, it's just like, please don't let me have something that I have to do, and then I get into that mode of somebody that I hate. Just an unrecognizable person that is not considerate of other people whatsoever, and just very mean. I feel like I'm mean and intolerable of anything, impatient with my children. I mean, it can even start that way. Like in the mornings, I won't get up in enough time to get them up, and then I'm like, come on guys, let's go, come on, what did I say? Just it's the truth, and I feel like I just have to talk about it, because I'm so sick and tired of it. I look at my babies' faces, and they're so forgiving at this age, but I just feel like I am just tearing them apart. I just really do. I feel like I'm tearing them apart. I want to eat healthy and to improve my health. My health has been going down and awful, and it's kind of to a point where it's like, this is no way to live. I have never imagined myself to be on medication. I am 32 years old, and I almost have to take over-the-counter allergy medicine every day, because I can hardly teach from all the itching of the throat and the sneezing, and then having to blow my nose until everything is out, which is usually like a 5-minute journey within itself. And I mean, I could literally go on and on about that, and then just feeling really awful and tired and moody and cranky. So I've got to change that. I want to work out about 6 days a week, and I want to become debt free. Those are the goals that I have, and there's one for my business as well. And like I said, I just got real estate business, and we would like to homeschool our children eventually, and so we are putting ourselves in a position where we will be able to do that, and that's why I went ahead and got my real estate license. And so making sure that I make strides in my business so that we have a closing. My goal is to have 2 closings per month, so that at least it will match what I'm making as a school teacher. And so those are my goals, Dani. Now, I will tell you, I've taken quite a few notes from different sessions. As you can see, I've got notes galore here that I've still got to go back through. And from Creating a Dynasty, I also started a Sprouts book here. This is my Sprouts notebook. See, it says Sprouts on it. And so when I went to Creating a Dynasty late last year, I think it was November, that's when I started my Sprouts. But I ended in the early December, which means I was not consistent. I started pretty strong, and then my last day was December the 6th, writing in my Sprouts book of the things. So I'm not going to pout. I'm just going to start it tonight. And so I'm going to write in my Sprouts book tonight. And I will tell you a Sprout that happened today is that I got 2 new leads today for my business, which is awesome. I went and ran for 30 minutes, which is great. So I can check that off. I haven't spent quality time with the Lord. I did go to church today since it's Sunday, but just that one-on-one time with Him, I haven't done that yet. So I need to do that. I need to do that tonight. And I can't say that I haven't been critical to my husband or my children. So I need to do that as well. Hey, Tidy, Mommy's recording. Can you scoot out for a minute? Okay, I'll tell you when you can come back in, okay? Thank you. So on these videos, it's going to be pretty raw, and it's not going to be this long. I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up of where my story was. And what I would like to do is just to kind of check in and show you what I've done for the day. So I hope that this will be a start to something pretty awesome and pretty unique, and a relationship kind of like the one that I feel like I've developed with you. Even though you've never talked to me personally, but through video and through audio, I feel like I know you. And like you are definitely in my circle of friends. And so even if that is the way that this will be, so be it. But I pray that this will help me to be able to have accountability. And because, especially if I know that you're watching. So, thank you. I will keep you in the ministry, the Dani Johnson community, in my prayers, and I pray that you do the same for me. Just really appreciate it. So, thank you so much, Dani. Bye. See you tomorrow. Bye.